Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so glad you clicked on this video. You're in the right place. Today we're diving into something that most of us struggle with, but rarely talk about: overthinking. That constant loop of thoughts, doubts, and second-guessing that keeps you awake at night and drains your energy during the day. Sound familiar? Don't worry, you're not alone. Whether you're an overthinker yourself or you're trying to understand someone who is, this video will open your eyes to how deeply overthinking can affect your mind, emotions, and even your future. Let's get into it. Overthinking takes a small, simple situation and turns it into a complex emotional storm. One unanswered text becomes 1,000 what-ifs, and before you know it, your imagination runs wild. It builds entire storylines out of silence. The truth: most of those imagined problems never even existed, but your stress felt real. Peace doesn't always come from your environment, it starts in your mind. But overthinking clutters that space. It turns quiet moments into loud chaos. Even when life is calm, your brain is noisy, overanalyzing things that happened hours, days, or even years ago. You crave peace, but your mind refuses to sit still. Confidence comes from trusting yourself. But how can you trust yourself when your mind constantly second-guesses every move you make? Overthinking makes you feel unsure, even when you're doing great. You start asking others for validation, avoiding decisions, and shrinking in your own skin. Every big dream begins with action, but overthinking convinces you to wait. To wait for the right time, the perfect plan, or complete certainty. You keep planning, hesitating, delaying. But time moves on, and you don't. Your progress is paused not because you can't move forward, but because you think too much before trying. Overthinking can create invisible cracks in relationships. You misread messages, assume intentions, and build resentment over things no one even said. You might pull back or become overly clingy, all because of thoughts that were never confirmed. The real problem: you're fighting battles that only exist in your head. One mistake, one awkward moment, one thing you forgot. Overthinking takes that tiny moment and turns it into a symbol of failure. You replay it, exaggerate it, and make it a part of your identity, when in reality, no one else is even thinking about it anymore. You could be at a party, laughing with friends, or walking in the sunshine, but if you're in your head, you're missing it all. Overthinking pulls you out of life and into worry. It keeps you locked in the past or anxious about the future, but never fully here, in the now. When you overthink, you start assuming. You take silence as rejection. A neutral tone becomes a hidden insult. You read between lines that don't even exist. You might begin to pull away from people, or become overly needy, or defensive, all because of something that only exists in your mind. Overthinking turns genuine connections into emotional battlefields, creating distance where there should be closeness. You spill some coffee. You forget to respond to a message. You stumble in a conversation. These are small things, but overthinking blows them out of proportion. You start to feel like a failure. You think everyone noticed. You replay it over and over. In truth, most people have already forgotten about it, but you haven't. And it weighs you down like something far bigger than it is. Even when things are going well, your mind finds something to worry about. You're having a good time, but your brain says, "Don't get too comfortable. What if something bad happens next?" Instead of being present, you're thinking of, what could go wrong? You miss the laughter, the connection, the beauty, because your mind is too busy scanning for danger that may not exist. Thinking too much is draining. It's like leaving dozens of tabs open in your brain. You're constantly analyzing, predicting, reviewing. And it doesn't stop. That mental load piles up, and you start to feel tired, not because you've done anything physically hard, but because your brain hasn't rested. Overthinking leaves you mentally worn out, emotionally heavy, and unable to focus on what really matters. Mistakes, regrets, missed chances, overthinking loves to replay them. You relive them again and again, like a movie you didn't like but keep watching anyway. You punish yourself for things that are already over. And it blocks you from moving forward, because your mind is too busy holding onto what you can't change. The past becomes a prison, and overthinking is the key that keeps locking the door. This is the most dangerous part. Overthinking doesn't always feel like a problem. Sometimes it feels like being responsible, being smart, being cautious. You tell yourself, I'm just being thorough. But the truth is, you're just stuck. Real thinking solves problems. Overthinking just creates more. It pretends to protect you, but it's really just fear wearing a mask. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being perfect. Overthinking feels like you're running a marathon, but never moving. Your brain never shuts off. It's constantly running. What if, scenarios and replays of conversations. You feel exhausted, mentally burned out, and overwhelmed, not because of real events, but because of thoughts that won't stop. 9. It keeps you trapped in the past. Everyone makes mistakes, but overthinking doesn't let you forget them. It replays old moments like a movie stuck on repeat. You punish yourself over and over, even when there's nothing more you can do. And as long as you're focused on yesterday, you're unable to embrace today or look forward to tomorrow. 10. It disguises itself as being smart. Maybe the sneakiest part of overthinking is this: it pretends to be helpful. You believe you're being wise, prepared, or responsible. But instead of solving problems, you're feeding your fear. Instead of moving forward, you're standing still. Real thinking leads to clarity. Overthinking leads to confusion, stress, and regret. Clapperboard outro, powerful and extended ending. So what can you do? Start small. The first step is awareness. Catching yourself in those moments where your thoughts spiral out of control. Ask yourself, is this helping me? Is this thought even true? You don't have to solve everything right now. Sometimes, you just need to breathe. To let go. To remind yourself that you're doing the best you can, and that's enough. Overthinking doesn't make you smarter. It just makes you stuck. It doesn't protect you from failure. It just keeps you from living fully. You don't need to control every outcome. You don't need to predict every scenario. You need to give yourself permission to trust, to try, to rest, and to move forward, even if it's not perfect. So the next time your thoughts get loud, your anxiety creeps in, and your brain refuses to turn off, remember this. You are not your thoughts. You are the calm behind the chaos. You are the strength beneath the noise. And you are capable of creating a life of peace, confidence, and purpose. One thought, one moment, one brave step at a time. Thought balloon. If this video spoke to you, if you've ever felt trapped by your thoughts, drop a comment below and share your story. Let's create a space where overthinkers can feel seen, supported, and safe. Sparkling heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so we can keep growing together. You've got this, and I'm here with you, every step of the way.